Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at our Day 4 Johnson Math, which is a review of simple interest for us. So remember that simple interest follows the formula I equals P R T. I should fix that because our R and T are actually supposed to be lowercase in this. It's I equals PRT. So I is our interest, P is our principal, and our principal is just however much money we put into the account at the start of this. R is our rate, and that's generally expressed as a percentage. And then T is our time. So we're going to use this, and let's say I'm going to do different numbers than what our homework asks for us. Let's say that I have a principal, so I start with $50. So my principal equals $50. I have a rate of 10%. So we'll go R equals 10%. And we're going to go a time of only 3 weeks. Now, if you guys remember back when we learned this lesson in class, we talked about how time is usually meant to be in years automatically at all times. But if you look at the wording of our question, we want to make sure that we change this. And so that instead of looking at a time of 3 weeks and we're calculating it over how many years it should be, in our question, it's asking us to treat the weeks as if they were the years. So our T is just going to be 3. So if I want to find out how much interest I've made, I take I equals 50 times 10% times 3. Now we can go ahead and start multiplying here if we want, but one thing we should be aware of is this percent sign right here. Remember that we don't want to multiply by a percent if we don't have to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn that percent into a decimal. In order to turn that into a decimal, we move that decimal place 2 places to the left. So we're going to move this. Currently, it's invisible and sitting right after the 10 because we don't need it right there. We're going to move this 2 places to the left. So now our amount of interest equals 50 times 1/10 times 3. Well, if we multiply 50 times 1/10, that's going to end up being 5. And then we have to multiply that by 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. And our interest, we're talking about money, because we started with $50, and so we're going to call this $15. Now remember that that's not the amount of money that's left in the bank account after this amount of time. That's the amount of extra money that's been earned. So our total is going to be that $50 that we started with, plus the $15 that we earned. So after these 3 weeks, we actually have $65. Now what we want to look at is the second part of our problem where it says, I give you an option to pay me some money for a higher interest rate. So in this case, let's say that I give the option to pay $30 for triple the interest rate. So if we're paying $30 for triple the interest, that means that our principal is no longer going to be $50. It's now going to be $20 that we start with. Our interest rate isn't going to be 10%, it's going to be triple that, which is 30%. And our time does not get changed, so it's still t equals 3 weeks. Before I even put this in, I'm going to take this rate and we're going to move that decimal over and make it into 3/10 instead of a percent. So now let's find our interest. So interest still equals our principal times our rate times our time. So that's going to equal our new principal, which is $20, times our new rate, which is 3/10, times our time, which is still 3 weeks. So now if we do our multiplication, 20 times 3/10 is going to give us 6. And then we have to multiply that times 3, which is going to be $18 of interest that we've made. Now this might be a point where we stop and look, hey, we've definitely got a better deal here because earlier we made $15 of interest and now we made $18 in interest. But we got to think about, what about our initial amount? We started with more last time than we did this time. So let's look at how much money we had total. So our total this time equals the same as last as far as our original, which is $20, plus our interest, which was $18. So this time we only have $38. So if we look at it now, we look at this $65 plus, or not plus, and we compare it to this $38. And we know that in this case, we do not want to take the interest rate, or do not want to take the deal for a tripled interest rate. Now this doesn't mean that your guys' situation isn't going to be one that you want to take the interest rate, because I chose different numbers here. So you still need to go through these calculations for your work to figure out if this is going to be an effective plan for you to take that rate. Hope you guys are all having fun at home, and let me know if you have any more questions on our math.